okay.
Alright, so I'm going to start with my clearance lights, my reflectors, four-way flashers, my high beams, low beams, turn signals left and right, and my parking lights. All mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken, and they are the proper color. I'm going to look underneath my tractor and see if there's any drips or puddles to indicate any leaks. Here I'm going to check my belts. Mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken. There's no more than ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch of play. My exhaust runs from the front of the motor all the way to the tailpipe. Mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken. There is no soot to indicate any leaks. My alternator is mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken, and it is belt driven. My radiator hoses, and all hoses on both sides are mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken. They're not leaking any air or fluids. Fluid, my oil, power steering fluids are all full. My air compressor, power steering pump, and air hose bundle are all mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken. They're not leaking any air or fluids, and they're gear driven. My water pump is mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken. It's not leaking, and it is belt driven. My frame runs from the front of the tractor to the rear of the tractor on both sides, mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken. There are no illegal welds, and there are no bolts missing. Power steering gearbox mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken, and my high and low pressure hoses are not leaking. Control arm mounts, control arms with bushings, U-bolts, and shock absorber, all mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken, and the shock absorber is not leaking any fluid. Fitment arm, drag link, steering knuckle, tie rods, and tie rod ends, all mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken. The cast nuts and cotter pins are secure and not missing. Air brake chamber, air brake line, and air brake chamber hose, mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken, not leaking. Rotors and pads, mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken, they're not worn dangerously thin. Tires are mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken. Good torn, braided, or bulging. There's a minimum of 4 32-second tread depth, and they're inflated to the manufacturer's specification. The rims are mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken. There are no welding repairs. My lug nuts, mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken. There are no shiny threads or rust trails to indicate any looseness. My inner and outer hub seals are mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken, and they're not leaking. Side indicator light, inspect as I did previously. My mirror mount, mirror, door hinges, door and door latches are all mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken. My mirror is clean, and my door unlatches and latches securely. Depth tank and diesel tanks are mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken, not leaking. Caps are tight, and there is a minimum of 1/8 fluid level in the depth tank. The side compartment has 3 VO2 reflective triangles, extra fuses, and a minimum rated BC 10-pound fully charged fire extinguisher mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken, and not leaking. Drive shaft and U-joints mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken, and they appear to be secure. Catwalk, driver assist steps, and driver side steps, all mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken, and there are no obstructions. The air lines run from the back of my tractor to the front of my trailer, mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken, and not leaking any air. My glad hands are mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken, and they are not leaking, and the seals are intact. My electric line runs from the back of my tractor to the front of my trailer. It's mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken, ripped, torn, braided, and is latched securely. The header board is mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken, and there are no holes in my header board. Control arm mounts, control arms with bushings, U-bolts, shock absorber, and airbags. I'll inspect as I did previously, and I'll ensure that the airbags are not leaking. My splash guard is mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken. It's not rubbing the tire or dragging on the ground. My brakes, do my drums and linings, air brake chamber, air brake line, air brake chamber hose, slack adjusters, push rods, and pins, all mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken, not worn. Drums and linings are not worn dangerously thin. The slack adjusters have no more than 1 inch of play with the brakes released, and it's not leaking. Rear brake chamber, air brake chamber hose are not leaking. Clearance light, side indicator light, and my ABS light are all mounted securely, not cracked or broken. They are proper colors. Tires, rims, lug nuts, inner and outer inner and outer axle seals on spec as I did previously, with the exception that I'll check to make sure that there's 230 seconds of tread depth minimum on the tires. There are no obstructions or objects between the tires, and they are not rubbing. My platform and mounting bolts, all mounted securely, not cracked or broken, and there are no bolts missing. My release handle and locking pins are mounted securely, not cracked or broken, and they are in the lock position. My kingpin and locking jaws mounted securely, not cracked or broken, and my locking jaws are locked around the kingpin shank. My apron and skid plate are mounted securely, not cracked or broken, and there are no space between them. My air hose, I'll check as I did previously. My frame runs from the top to the bottom, front to back, and side to side, and that includes my cross members. They're all mounted securely, not cracked or broken. There are no holes in my trailer floor or my apron. I'll just double check just to make sure I got everything. Think about it. Mud flaps mounted securely, not cracked or broken. DOT reflective tape mounted securely, not cracked or broken, rip torn, frayed or peeling. The mud flap is not dragging the ground or rubbing the tire. Tail lights, brake lights, four-way flashers, turn signals left and right, and parking lights and reverse light are all mounted securely, and I'll check as I did previously. Space between my tractor and my landing gear support frame is sufficient to where they do not collide with each other. The landing gear support frame mounted securely, not cracked or broken. My landing gear is fully raised position. Locking pin mounted securely, not cracked or broken. They're in the lock position. Drums, linings, brake chamber air hose, slack adjusters, push rods and pins, all mounted securely, not cracked or broken. I'll check as I did previously, and I'll ensure that there's no more than 1 inch of play on the slack adjusters, front and back, drives and cams. This particular trailer has no torsion bar, so there's control arm mounts, control arms with bushings, shock absorber and airbags on spec as I did previously. Tires, rims, lug nuts, inner and outer axle seals on spec as I did previously. And I'll also make sure that there are 230 seconds tread depth, there are no objects or obstructions between the tires, and that they are not rubbing. Mud flap on securely, not cracked or broken. DOT reflective tape, check as I did previously. That is not dragging on the ground or rubbing the tire. That the tape is not rip torn, frayed or peeling. Securely. Also my DOT reflective tape all the way around the entire trailer. Securely, not cracked or broken, rip torn, frayed or peeling. Marker lights, ID lights, four-way flashers, brake lights, turn signals left and right, and parking lights are all mounted, and license plate light, all mounted securely, not cracked or broken. And they are proper color, inspected as I did previously. My doors, my door latches, door hinges, and door handles, all mounted securely, not cracked or broken. They're in the lock position. DOT reflective tape on my doors and my DOT bumper. Mounted securely, not cracked, bent, or broken, ripped, torn, frayed, or peeling. And I'll inspect this side as I did previously. Hi.